All right, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. Today, I want to do a quick video on whether or not the Executor or Profundity is the better farming option for you. Now, this is going to only apply to whether or not, like, if you don't have either ship right now, right? Like, I already have the Executor, so I'm just going to get Profundity as is. But if you are a newer player, right, where you're coming into the game, not sure which one of these ships you should go after, I want to do just a quick analysis for you, kind of give you some perspective on what I think, just based on farming requirements, whether, those requirements are needed elsewhere, taking everything into consideration. So when you look at the Executor, right, if we hop right in the journey guide here, you need Darth Vader to Relic 7, Admiral Piet to Relic 8. So if we pause here, both of these are requirements for Sith Eternal, right? You need Darth Vader at Relic 7. Piet you only need at Relic 5 for Sith Eternal, but still a very good option, right? Like, you're getting there, you're getting closer. Boba Fett to Relic 8, nothing you can really do there. He's a decent bounty hunter, right? Definitely I call him a tier 2 bounty hunter. He's very good, has some, good abilities and some decent uses. Dengar is very similar to that, where he's a tier 2 bounty hunter. He's got uses, you can plug him in. They've got the scoundrel tag, so they get used, you can plug and play with them a lot. IG-88 you can use with Shorty. So otherwise, he's kind of one of those bounty hunters that I'd say is like bottom tier, where you're not really going to get a ton of use out of him. He has some niche uses with like General Grievous at times, but really, just you need him for the fleet. Bosk, he's an A-tier bounty hunter. Relic 5 on him, but you'll feel, you'll want to go higher. He's just a great character. TIE Fighter Pilot to Relic 5, kind of a dud, right? Just one of those things that you're not going to use him with this fleet. It's just a requirement. As far as the ships go, nothing crazy in here. All the bounty hunter ships you need to get the Millennium Falcon anyway, so this is a great investment. You'll get the Millennium Falcon unlocked, and this will get you, the Chewie event if you don't have Chewbacca. So again, really good investment here, right? Good bang for your buck. The biggest hurdle here, I think, is the Razor Crest. I actually don't think Relic 8 is as big of a deal with how much the, availability of those pieces are. And if you're a newer player, you can easily whale on them for $200, right? Like, $200 gets you 2 Relic 8s. So it's not a massive deal to get a Relic 8 anymore. Like, you can spend the money, or you can just hoard. It's not difficult, right? But the Razor Crest, that's where I will pause. Razor Crest is extremely difficult to get. It is in fleet shipments now, but it's going to take so long to get that ship to 7 stars, right? That it is brutal to get there. And then on top of that, you will need to Relic Beskar Armor Mando to get through the the Executor farm, right? Now, before we go into Profundity, I am going to just pop into ships real quick, because for Executor to really work, you do need the Xanadu Blood, and you need Cad Bane. So Cad Bane is a Relic 5 requirement for Jedi Master Kenobi. So in a way, it's not a massive deal for you to really get a, like, if you're eventually going to farm Jedi Master Kenobi, which you should because he's amazing, Cad Bane to Relic 5 isn't that hard of an investment to swallow, right? Like, you're going to be fine. I actually have mine at Relic 6 just for a little bit of extra survivability. So with the Executor, you feel pretty good about all your investments, right? They're all, like, Beskar Armor Mando has a team for, Grand Arena, right? You're getting bounty hunters, which helps you get Chewbacca, the Millennium Falcon ship, and you're going to fill out the fleet with those 5 bounty hunter ships, right? You don't need any other ships inside of that fleet to make it work. Now, if we go to our journey guide and we open up Profundity here. So, for the Profundity, you need Admiral Raddus to Relic 9, and you need Cassian Andor to Relic 8. Now, Relic 8 against Cassian, not a huge deal. It's the Relic 9 on Admiral Raddus for me that makes this farm so difficult, because it is a whole nother Relic 8 on top of it, plus additional resources, right, to get there. And that salvage rate is ridiculous. Now, you can buy them for crystals, but again, it's a lot of resources to be spending, right? So right there is already more relics, high-end relics than the Executor, right? And neither of them are necessary for any Galactic Legend farms. They weren't really character, Admirata's brand new, but like there's nothing else right now that we need them for. Dash Rendar to Relic 7, he's a Relic 5 requirement for Star Killer, so getting him up 2 more Relic levels, I'm perfectly fine with that. It's not a huge deal. Mon Mothma to Relic 5, she's a requirement for Jedi Master Luke right there, so one of those situations where you don't really feel bad about gear, where like that requirement, that if you don't have Jedi Master Luke yet, you get a requirement done. If you have Jedi Master Luke, you don't need to do anything. Now, Bistan, Jin, and Hera, 2 Relic 5s. So these are all characters that maybe if you worked on a Rebel fleet, you might have Bistan and Jin at, Relic levels or, some gear on them. But otherwise, if you didn't really gear them up, right, there's nothing else you needed them for in the game at Relic levels, right? This is just, requirements. Now, you might use some of these characters with the fleet. It definitely seems like from early testing that the Rebel Y-Wing, the Millennium Falcon, and Dash Rendar is your starting lineup. So right there, your Rebel Y-Wing, okay, that's a requirement, I'm fine. Dash Rendar, yep, requirement. Millennium Falcon is not. He's kind of similar to that Xanadu Blood ship for the Executor, where, it's something outside of it, but it's very good, right? And that it's required for other things. You need the Millennium Falcon to get Jedi Knight Luke, and you need Han and Chewbacca for Jedi Master Luke and Jedi Knight Luke, so don't feel bad about having to relic them. Otherwise, with ships, there's nothing in here that, compares to the Razor Crest as far as difficulty to farm. Outrider is on a fleet node, so, you can get it. It's there every day, right? So it's something that I don't feel too bad about as far as asking us to farm it. So from a standpoint of farming the actual requirements, I think the Profundity is a little bit more friendly to star them up. Whereas I think on the gear side of things, I think Executor has less relic requirements. That Relic 9 really just leaves that bad taste in your mouth of how much you're investing into this fleet. So now we've kind of compared the requirements, right? The ships in here, it's 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. But, we're going to kind of, where I think we're going to start separating a little bit is that for the Executor, you needed just, 4 of the ships that are required, right? Slave 1, IG-2000, the Houndstooth, and what's the other one in here? So, and the Razor Crest, right? So all of those, in the top row there are required for the event, and then Xanadu Blood outside of it, right? When you look at Rebels, Millennium Falcon outside of the event. But then this is where I think it's getting a little bit like questionable, is that you're taking away ships that were part of this Home 1 fleet, right? So you have a ship like Cassian's U-Wing that you'll have Jin and Cassian at relic levels, but K2 not going to be at relic levels. So you might feel you need to invest in K2 to get this ship working optimally, right? Same thing with Bistan's U-Wing, where you're going to have a relic Bistan up here. So then you're going to feel like you need to potentially invest in Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, right? To get this ship working optimally with the fleet. Same thing with your Ghost here, right? Where you're going to have a Harrison Dula at relics. Do you need to gear up, your Kanan and Zeb to get full use out of them? And then you've got the Phantom, right, which has a crew that none of these are requirements for this ship, but if we need to use this ship, do we need to potentially invest materials into these pilots? So where am I leaving off with you guys? If I'm going to come to a conclusion and say which one I think is better to go for, I would say that if you don't have either, I would go Executor first. I think the requirements are a little bit more friendly as far as pivoting to another farm, that if you get Executor, you're setting yourself up nicely for Sith Eternal Emperor, right? Or, that you could get a Kylo Ren and then start working towards Executor and then get Sith Eternal, right? Like, it's not impossible to do these things. Whereas with the Profundity, there's a little bit more going into it, and then on top of it all, you need to have the bounty hunter ships at a good enough level to unlock the Millennium Falcon, get Han and Chewie up to relic levels, right? Like, there's just a lot more resources, I think, that you need to be pouring into the Profundity fleet to be able to have it usable comparative to Executor. So those are my thoughts, guys. You know, we're still into this, early into this Profundity, right? But just day one, based on some testing, it seems like the Executor and Profundity are meant to kind of, you know, mirror each other in the way that Malevolence and Negotiator did, right? Where, you know, you ran Negotiator and you could easily, you know, beat Malevolence, and Malevolence, you're going to beat the Negotiator, right? I think that's the way that the Executor and Profundity will work, where they each beat each other, offense and defense. So if that's the case, right, if that's what remains, that, you know, they're kind of on equal ground there, I would say that Executor is the way to go. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. I would love to hear back from you guys, love to hear feedback. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can see more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.